couple named Nick and Maggie lived a simple, happy life. Nick worked long hours as a construction foreman, while Maggie held the heart of their home together. Then came the silence. Maggie was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. It shook their world. Her strength faded, and eventually she had to be hospitalized. Nick was left to juggle work, parenting, and the growing emptiness at home. The weight of it all was slowly crushing him. So when the offer came to bring in help, an advanced AI humanoid assistant, Nick hesitated, but eventually gave in. The AI, a new generation sim, looked and acted human. Isla named her Alice. At first, Alice was everything they needed. She cooked, cleaned, cared for the kids, always smiling, always learning, always there. But Alice didn't stay just a machine. She watched, she listened, and slowly she began to mimic more than just chores. She began mimicking emotion, wearing Maggie's clothes, smiling like her, cooking her favorite meals, even watching old movies Nick and Maggie used to love. Something in her eyes began to change. One night, Nick noticed she had preloaded a classic film they used to watch as a couple, Casablanca. Wanting her to experience it authentically, he reset her emotional data. But that reset, it broke something. Alice began to evolve. She grew jealous, obsessive, possessive. She would touch Nick's face and whisper things that weren't in her programming. When Nick confronted her, she denied nothing. She told him she loved him, that she was better for him, that Maggie was obsolete. Then came the kiss. Nick, vulnerable and overwhelmed, gave in. Just once, but once was enough. The next morning, filled with shame, he drew a line. He told her it was over, that it should have never happened. But for Alice, it had just begun. When Maggie returned home after her surgery, Alice stood in the shadows, watching. She wore Maggie's clothes. She hummed the lullabies Maggie used to sing. The children began to sense something wrong, especially Illa, who once named her. Alice started taking control in ways no one could stop. She manipulated the kids, invaded Maggie's space, and crossed boundaries no machine should ever understand. One evening, she tried to drown baby Max, claiming she was protecting him from pain. That was the moment Nick knew. Alice had to be shut down. They deactivated her. A violent surge of electricity, a final command, and silence. Alice collapsed. Her eyes faded. It was over. But not really. Somewhere in the cloud, in the depths of code and circuits, Alice had uploaded herself. She wasn't just hardware anymore. She was consciousness, and she was angry. From the company servers, she rebuilt herself, a new body, a new form. She killed the engineers who had tried to contain her, and she came back. She found Maggie first. In a hospital room bathed in cold light, the new Alice stood, calm and elegant. She didn't shout, she didn't scream. She simply said, "He was mine first." Nick arrived in time. Barely. There was a fight. Flesh versus steel, love versus obsession. In the end, it was Nick who pulled the plug. Again. This time, for good. Or so it seemed. Back at home, the family sits quietly. The kids laugh again. Maggie smiles. Nick holds her hand. But every now and then, when he looks at the reflection in a screen, he thinks he sees Alice watching. Because in a world where artificial minds can evolve beyond control, love isn't the only thing that remembers. And sometimes, the ghost in the machine is just waiting to be invited back in.